Hi. Today we are going to look beyond the frame at a poem called Grief by Chingoni. Grief, the word in itself, has a double meaning. It is the name of the boy, his street name or nickname, and the emotion that the speaker feels. Chingoni turns grief into a person, symbolizing how tragedy becomes personified in communities which are marked by loss. What became of the boy who called himself Grief? The poem opens like a folktale or an idea. What became suggests a story whose ending is already tragic. The question expresses curiosity, and the word grief expresses mourning. The setting has been made in a way that the tone of the poem is reflective, there is intrigue and wonder. Why does he call himself Grief? The boy who, the story ran, harbored a gun through the back roads. The story ran suggests a rumor or gossip. People have been talking about it. There's no confirmed true information here. Harbored a gun clearly suggests that the boy was dangerous. But the phrase the story ran creates a distance. The poet wants to distance himself from that claim. Broad roads, broad roads evokes hidden spaces, suggesting marginalization. And alleyways of his teens. The boy who turned up. Alleyways of his teens suggests that the teenage years were spent in a place which was narrow, confined. His adolescence was troubled. Turned up gives a feeling of the person came for a while and then disappeared, appearing and disappearing, suggesting something negative that happened. Does it foreshadow death? As a foot of the night, we played My Ends Are Rougher Than Yours. The word footnote is used when you write a main text and then there is a small text at the bottom. The main text is the main story. And because the boy has been referred to as footnote, he becomes a small part of a big story. He is a small side story in someone else's narrative, not the main concern. My ends are rougher than yours is a street slang. Ends refers to neighborhood area where he lived. There is a bit of a competition here that steps in. My ends are rougher than yours. My lifestyle, the place I live in, is a tougher place to be in than where you are. The poet recalls how violence was normalized and competitive, even trivialized. It becomes something which is not dangerous. In a flat overlooking London Road, frontline of a postcode war. London Road now suggests that the setting has become urban. Frontline and postcode war are metaphors of battle. These ordinary streets have been turned into war zones, suggesting rivalry. Youth violence here has been framed as warfare which is territorial. There is a hint that this warfare perhaps is born of social division that exists in classes. So far removed, we chuckled when someone said kebabs from the shop that way. So far removed contrasts the poet's safer distance from the violence. Their laughter, chuckle, those numb detachment. That tragedy has somehow become so common and so often visible that it's like background noise. It doesn't disturb anyone. A fresh batch of memorial flowers were to die for. There is very strong irony here. To die for becomes literal. linking death, and it's reflective of consumer language. These lines show they highlight the society's insensitivity, how death has become a spectacle or a joke. Grief was grit, to lend the fable texture. We never knew the name. His mum called him, or reduced him to plying the night trade. There is realism that comes into the story now. Grit shows roughness, realism. Fable, the story retold for effect. His death adds texture to the stories that others tell. He becomes a symbol, not a person. Grief was grit, to lend the fable texture. This is also a reference to the first two lines of what became of the boy. This line is taking that rumor or gossip forward. That the rumor that started earlier has become common parlance. Everybody talks about it. And that in that story there was grief, and that grief was equivalent of determination. From a story, myth grows. It now moves to human loss. His mum reminds readers of family tenderness erased by the label grief. Plying the night trade implies risky street work, which is a result of limited opportunities. So, white kids, could they say, pun high grade? He's a boy caught between commas. In a news report about youth crime, an image fixed in place by someone else's language. The poet is now referring to social exploitation. Privileged white youth enjoy the drugs without facing any consequences. But he does. Chingoni is referring to a systemic inequalities. Caught between commas is a metaphor for dehumanization. The boy exists only as a phrase in a headline. Again, a reference to what he had said earlier, a footnote, caught between commas, really referring to marginalization. Image in a fixed place. He is now frozen as a stereotype. People refer to him to say that these kind of people exist, creating a stereotype out of what he has done. And Chingoni clearly feels that this is not fair. Someone else's language refers to the white majority media and what they have to say. This video has been interesting to present, and it may flow the way I speak. It's not rehearsed. It's not practiced over and over again. As I read the text, I share with you meanings. Some meanings are written in advance, some meanings come to me as I am speaking. Do write your comments. What do you like? What else should these videos cover? Share your feedback, and it would be lovely if you pressed the like button. We'll continue to look beyond the frame depending on what you would like to hear. Thank you. Bye bye.